You've probably have wondered why you can lose weight but struggle to gain muscle, or why your body seems to resist change despite your best efforts. So picture this: you're eating clean, working out regularly, and following all the traditional diet advice, yet your results are very slow. What if I told you there's a wild approach that not only accelerates your progress but also allows you to enjoy the foods you love? So carb backloading, I believe, is a game-changing strategy that I've been utilizing for more than 10 years. So imagine a diet where pizza, donuts, and your favorite carb treats aren't just allowed but are actually part of the plan. Sounds good to be true? That's what many of my patients thought until they actually experienced this transformative power of this approach. Guys, please do me a favor and subscribe, and don't forget to share with friends and family, and I'm always intrigued by every single comment. This isn't another fad diet. It's a scientifically backed method that harnesses your body's natural rhythms to optimize muscle growth and fat loss simultaneously. But strategically timing your carb intake, you can actually enhance your physique that you thought it could be impossible. But how exactly does carb backloading work? And so many comments have caused such a stir within my community. So that said, let me explain the approach. See, carb backloading is about strategic timing, specifically if you are following a low carb diet, carnivore, and or ketogenic. The basic principle is quite simple. Avoid carbohydrates for the first part of the day, engage in resistance training in the late afternoon or evening, and then consume the majority of your carbs post-workout. Now, this approach flies in the face of conventional wisdom, which often recommends front-loading carbs earlier in the day. Carb backloading manipulates insulin sensitivity. Did you know that your body's response to carbohydrates changes throughout the day? In the morning, our bodies are naturally more insulin sensitive, meaning they're primed to store nutrients, including fat. By avoiding carbs during this time, we can actually maintain a fat burning state throughout the day. But here's where it actually gets very interesting. After an intense workout, our muscles becomes incredibly receptive to nutrients, creating a unique window of opportunity. So picture your muscles as sponges. After a challenging resistance training session, they're like dry sponges, ready to soak up nutrients. And during this post-workout period, the body is in a prime state to shuttle carbohydrates into muscle cells rather than storing them as fat. This is where the backloading comes into play. By consuming carbs at this time, you're essentially feeding your muscles exactly when they need it most, promoting growth and recovery while minimizing fat storage. But the benefits of carb backloading don't stop here. This approach also takes advantage of the body's natural hormone fluctuations. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get better results from their workouts than others? The answer might lie in their hormonal balance. See, growth hormone, which plays a crucial role in fat burning and muscle growth, is typically the highest in the early morning and during sleep. By avoiding carbs during these periods, you're allowing the growth hormone to work its magic. One of the most appealing aspects of carb backloading is its flexibility. Unlike many restrictive diets that leave you feeling deprived, this approach allows for indulgence. At the right time, of course. Imagine finishing a grueling workout and rewarding yourself with a slice of pizza or a bowl of your favorite ice cream. As with carb backloading, these aren't cheats or setbacks. They're actually part of the plan. This is not only makes the diet more sustainable long term, but also helps to replenish glycogen stores, fueling your next workout. But don't be fooled. Carb backloading isn't a free pass to eat whatever you want, whenever you want. The key is to make smart choices during the low carb portion of the day, focusing on high quality proteins and healthy fats. This ensures that your body has the nutrients it needs to function optimally and maintain muscle mass. Think fatty meats, fish, eggs, and a handful of vegetables. By carefully controlling your nutrition during the day, you set the stage for optimal nutrient partitioning when you do consume carbs. And implementing carb backloading requires some planning and adjustments. Typically, you'll want to schedule your workouts for the late afternoon or evening. This allows you to take full advantage of the post-workout anabolic window. And your pre-workout meal should be low in carbs and high in protein and fat. Then, your post-workout, it's time to embrace the carbs. But here's a pro tip. Opt for fast digesting carbs immediately after your workout. This could be anything from white rice to your favorite sugary treat. The goal is to spike insulin quickly to drive nutrients into your muscles. One of the most exciting aspects of carb backloading is to potentially to break through fitness plateaus. Many found yourself stuck, unable to lose those last few pounds of fat or even gain the extra bit of muscle. See, many people find that traditional dieting approaches lead to stalled progress over time. And just by manipulating insulin and other hormones, carb backloading can actually help reignite fat loss and muscle gain. Even for experienced athletes, it's like giving your body a metabolic reset, allowing you to continue making progress when other diets have failed. But like any diet strategy, carb backloading isn't one size fits all. Some individuals may need to adjust their carb intake or timing based on their specific goals and body type. And many individuals argue that carb backloading could lead to overconsumption of unhealthy foods, but this lifestyle structure naturally limits overeating, as the fasting period during the day helps control overall calorie intake. And the focus on resistant training ensures that the carbs consumed are put to good use. It's not about indulging blindly, but rather about fueling your body for optimal performance and recovery. For those intrigued by the concept of carb loading, it's worth giving it a try. Start by gradually adjusting your carb intake and meal timing. Pay attention to how your body responds and don't be afraid to make adjustments as needed. So remember, the goal is to find a sustainable approach that actually works for you in the long term. You might be surprised at how quickly your body adapts and how much more enjoyable your fitness journey becomes. So that said, let's break it down with my own examples, supplements, and timing. Now keep in mind, I follow a strict carnivore diet as well. 6 days out of the 7, I eat strictly carnivore. Consists of 2 pounds of meat daily with a couple of eggs, sometimes wild fish, and sometimes some imported cheeses. On the 7th day, my first meal still consists of 1 pound of meat with 3 eggs, while the evening meal being after an intense exercise, I will consume white rice or sweet potato or even pumpkin, ranging from 2.5 grams to 7 grams of simple carbohydrates per 1 pound of body weight to refuel my glycogen storage for the whole week. You could do it daily at a much less intake of carbs, but you will have to figure that out yourself. This is what I do weekly, and in the summertime, I usually do this every 5th day. Now, as for the supplementation, to give you a better guide, I use MCT oil daily couple times, coffee intake twice a day, sometimes 3 times, leucine 3 grams after training, creatine 5 grams as well, and a ton of magnesium to saturate the cells to allow proper recovery. Now, another example to one of my athlete patients does consume first meal 8 ounces of steak with 4 eggs, 1 shot of espresso with 1 tablespoon of MCT oil blended with 5 grams of creatine prior of working out. Then after a training session, whey isolated of 30 grams, leucine 3 grams, dextrose of 40 grams, creatine 5 grams, caffeine 1 shot of espresso mixed. Now 30 to 60 minutes after shake, protein sources roughly 8 to 16 ounces of chicken, steak, or even fish. And there's a high glycemic source such as white rice, sweet potato, or even pasta with a handful of vegetables. Some other options he might indulge once a week would include pizza, ice cream, or high simple carb treats. To share his workout, lots of compound movements from squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead presses, rows, pull-ups, chin-ups, and this could range roughly about 3 times a week, focusing on heavy compound movements with at least 3 to 5 sets and 5 to 8 reps. Now, my final thoughts: carb loading represents a shift in how we think about nutrition and fitness. By aligning our eating habits with our body's natural rhythms and processes, we can potentially achieve better results with less restriction. Whether you're a bodybuilder looking to gain lean mass, an athlete aiming to improve performance, or simply someone wanting to shed stubborn fat, carb loading offers an intriguing approach worth exploring. So why not give carb backloading a shot? Your muscles and taste buds will thank you, and trust me, 10 years and still going strong. Cheers.